I'm Vinay Rao. I'm the engineering manager for cloud-connected devices at SmartThings. I've got Rohan Desai here. He's the lead engineer for the platform that runs SmartThings Schema. We launched SmartThings Schema last year. The idea there was to make it easier for our partners to add devices to the SmartThings cloud. And in the last 1 year, we've added a lot of key partners. We've got one of those key partners here. So the first thing I'll do is I'll invite Amber Kappa onto the stage, and she'll talk a bit more.
Thank you, Vinay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amber Kappa. I head up external engagement at SmartThings, and I'm super excited to be here. I joined SmartThings a little less than 6 months ago, so just kind of going through the whole onboarding process and really understanding the IoT space and really getting a good sense of what an interesting and exciting time it is to be here. We recently launched a partnership with Tuya, which we announced in China last week. And so we are inviting Alex Yang here, who's the COO, to give us an overview and also to talk about our first integration partner, joint partner, which is Globe. So with that, Alex, I'd love to introduce you and invite you on stage.
Thank you, Amber.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Amber. So it's an honor to be on this stage with the Samsung together and to announce our cooperations with the SmartThings and to share our integrations between two platforms and what kind of experience we're going to bring. So this is what we've been doing. And we announced this in last week. And right now, these kind of features and integrations will be available for all partners who use Tuya platforms. OK, I'm not sure how many of you heard about Tuya. So actually, we're building a very unique IoT platform to enable anyone who wants to design, develop, and produce, and distribute any type of smart home devices. We found that any kind of connected devices has to come with 3 key factors. The first one is that we need to be able to cover the connectivity, so the device needs to be connected through whatever the protocol is, no matter it's Wi-Fi, Bluetooth Mesh, Zigbee, or Z-Wave. So Tuya is creating a generic connectivity modules combined with all protocol together and come with the entire embedded systems. So that's the first one. And the second one is that they have to come with the cloud, which come with all the standard IoT services, including the control protocol, user account management, device management, OTA, data storage, data distribution, etc. And then it got to be a global IoT cloud service. So that's the second part. And Tuya deployed a global covered IoT standard service cloud 5 years ago. And the next part is that when the device being connected, actually we're creating a new user experience. We're creating a new kind of user interface. So when things become connected, people don't expect to push the button anymore because the button makes no sense when you connect the things with the internet. And then we need an application. So very easy to use applications is a third factor for any type of connected devices. So what Tuya has been doing is that actually Tuya finished 3 factors together, combine them to deliver a plug-and-play solutions for any IoT developer. So by most of the scenarios, all those kind of manufacturers or the brands or the developers, the only thing they need to do to design any type of smart home devices with the Tuya, it will be like just easily insert a networking module which pre-installed with Tuya enabled system into their devices, and then devices will be able to connect it to the cloud. We're already pre-deployed all over the world and starting to communicate with applications we already finished. So instantly, without any coding, programming, actually we can have the smart home products designed and developed done. So by most of the scenarios in Asia, so that type of hardware integration can be easily finished in a couple of days. And so we shortened the development cycle a lot from 6 to 12 months, we're successfully helping our customers to be able to develop any type of those devices in 1 to 2 months. So starting with the product concept into a mass production ready and go to market, 3 to 4 months will be enough. And then we continuously maintain the service out there, keep upgrade the service. For past 4 years, we upgrade our cloud service every 2 weeks. We upgrade our generic mobile application infrastructures every 6 weeks. We make sure that all the new technology and all the new features keep up to date and keep delivering the best-in-class user experience for all our partners using our technology. So that's what we call is the plug-and-play solution. But more than that, there are a lot of customers, actually, they have better understanding about IoT, about the user experience, so they like to do all those kind of differentiations. So we are not running like a closed platform. We want to open as many as we can. So in the same time, all the 3 key factors, we open it up with SDK and with API. So we have open API for the cloud, we have the SDK for the embedded system, and we also have the SDK and API for the applications. So anyone who have its own in-house design resources, actually they can finish any type of application levels onto your platform. So create all different kind of features, experience, and product concept. So we can deliver as a total package, but also we are open to allow anyone to do their own customization and differentiation. So that's what we did. And the uniqueness is that no matter how we design the products, as long as it's connected to the same platform, all devices connect with each other. So through that, in past 4 years, Tuya already successfully works with over 180 customers all over the world to develop over 90,000 different type of devices. And then put all the devices together, it become an entirely connected home. So right now we already cover 8 major categories out there, including the lighting, electricals, sensor, video surveillance, white appliances, kitchen and small appliances, healthcare, and entertainment. So our customers call that literally anything we can find electrify in your home, we always got a solution to make it connected and smart. So through that, we can see that we are creating a new IoT supply chain solution is that no matter which design houses you're using, no matter which factory you used, even it's come from different design houses, come from different factories, come from using different chipset, contain different functionalities, put them together, it always can become a one system, can be a one brand system. So actually, we're helping our customer to become from a legacy hardware brand into an entire smart home solution provider. And we keep it as open as possible, not only connect the different type of devices and the manufacturers. From the beginning, we connected to all those third-party IoT platforms as long as they can generate a seamless user experience. So we connected with Alexa, with Google Assistant, FTTT, and HomeKit. And we're very happy to announce that since today, we're starting working with the SmartThings. We try to generate a much more user experience options for all those users out there. By connecting with the SmartThings, actually, we are creating a seamless experience so any Samsung user, any Samsung cell phone users, as long as they have the SmartThings apps in the phone, actually, they can have one-click connections with any type of Tuya devices. And through that, right now, we're working with the Samsung to starting works with the SmartThings they call WWST certificate. So which means that anyone, as long as they're using Tuya platform to design their smart home products, First one is one click, they can enable the feature to work with the SmartThings. And then we have our own internal procedures to help our customers to get the certificate of WWST. And one user case is one of our customers. This is the first of two customers who works with the SmartThings Globe. This is a lighting company who lasts for over 87 years, a very, very historical brand with reputation in North America. And in 1 week, right now, all devices from Globe works with the SmartThings now. And right now, the consumers in North America, like in Bed Bath & Beyond, all those products they purchase from the shelf, they download the latest version of the app, they can work with SmartThings. And we're enabling more and more partners like that. So we're looking for 4 values for the partnership. The first one is quantity. So not only the quantity of the products, but also the quantity of the sustainable service. And the second one is we looking for the new experience. We believe that there's no, maybe people need more options besides one applications. So people like to connect it all things together besides one closed ecosystem. So we're trying to create more and more type of experience out there. And the third one is scale. So Tuya right now served over 180,000 customers in the world, and we enabling over 4,000 brands all over the world. And scalability is what we can provide. So with the platform-to-platform integrations, right now, all those thousands of brands, they can have the capability to work with the SmartThings instantly. And the last one is easy to integration without any recoding or reprogramming. All devices, as long as you develop based on Tuya platform, you can have the feature to work with the SmartThings right now. So basically, this is what we did with the SmartThings, and we are very excited to announce this accomplishment, and we're looking forward to helping more brands and more customers to generating this kind of experience to the consumers. So this is my sharing. Thank you, guys.
So let's start with the basics. If you were not here last year or you haven't tried out SmartThings Schema, we can go over quickly on what is SmartThings Schema. As long as your cloud supports OAuth 2 for authentication, we've got a basic model that basically brings us up to speed to all the other partners in the industry. So it's once the integration's done, and the user installs, whether it's a Tuya integration or a TP-Link integration, the first request is discovery. You're discovering the device, followed by getting the state of the device. And anytime the user takes action, you get a command request from SmartThings Cloud. The advanced feature is callbacks, where we expect the state of the devices or newer devices to be sent proactively back to the SmartThings Cloud. It's a quick refresher on what SmartThings Schema is. Based on those things, we've got 2 strategies for our partners to go to market with us. One is the SmartThings Certified. That's our full Works with SmartThings WWST program. It's a 30-day SLA where we test your devices in our test house and make sure it works properly with our apps, our automations, and all of those things. That also enables you to co-market with us along with using our logos and on your packaging and everything. The easier route for most partners is the SmartThings Compatible program, where you just need to enable the 3 basics, discovery, state, and command. And what you get is the SmartThings Compatible logo. The idea there is your logo shows up in the SmartThings app so that the users can install it. But they can't, but you as a partner cannot use the Works with SmartThings official logo. Most of our partners go with the SmartThings Compatible route to get started as they wait for the 30-day certification. Key reasons why you would want to work with SmartThings is the SmartThings app is available in over 100 countries and has about 45 million plus monthly active users. It's pre-installed on Samsung phones, Samsung TVs, Samsung fridge that have the big display on it. And the Works with SmartThings program also allows you to work with the SmartThings marketing team. There's B2B2C opportunities with partners like Vodafone. So that's one more reason for you to work with us. So we've broken down our session into categories. Like the first one is device feature. We've got ease of use, and at the very end, some future features that we don't quite have it ready, but we want to tease that to you here today. So the first one is discovery callback. This was something that our partners requested that we support. The key reason here being that today, we issue a discovery once every 6 hours just to keep things in sync. But there are partners who want to make sure that if a user buys a new bulb, whether it's a LifeX bulb or a 2-year device, and they add it to their native app, they want to have that experience so that the device instantly shows up in the SmartThings app. So the discovery callback allows you to proactively call the SmartThings cloud and report those devices. One other key use case that we had was we've got partners, because it's IoT and you want to ship your device and make sure you're in the market on time, some features get turned off at launch. So you don't want to enable your temperature measurement because your balance is still not correct. So what we allow for you is for you to ship your devices with certain features turned off, and the minute a firmware update goes on to a certain device and the feature is now available, you can use discovery callback to proactively call us and change the capability of the device. That updates the capability instantly on the device so that the user can then use those features in the SmartThings app. We beta tested this feature in the last month or so with LifeX Brilliant and Emerson thermostats, and therefore we can say that it's production ready as of today. Take over.
So as part of the other device features that we implemented for ST Schema is the problem statement over here is if a user goes onto a partner platform and tries to onboard the device using 2 different integrations, right? So in this example, we are talking about Alexa and LifeX. So if a user comes in and goes to the Alexa app and starts the, enables the LifeX skill, so what happens is Alexa sends a discovery request to the LifeX cloud, and then the LifeX cloud responds back with all the devices, and then Alexa will show the LifeX devices to the user. But at the same time, the same user also goes to the SmartThings app and enables the SmartThings Schema LifeX integration, which again gets all the LifeX devices for the same user, and SmartThings app, the SmartThings ecosystem has all those LifeX devices. Now what happens is if the same user goes to Alexa and enables the SmartThings skill again, they're going to get the same LifeX device back from us. So what happens is the Alexa app ends up seeing those duplicate devices. So in this case, we just implemented like a new field called the device unique ID, which is a very simple unique identifier for the device, which the partner can define in their own ecosystem, and they can send it to us. And what we do is Alexa is also defined as a part of their API that we send them a few parameters, and with the combination of those parameters, when SmartThings sends the discovery response back with the device unique ID, those particular fields, it can be anything. It can be manufacturer name, model name, the device unique identifier within your ecosystem. LifeX does the same. So that's how Alexa looks at the response from both 2 different partners, in this case, LifeX and SmartThings, and then it dedupes the device for the partner, for the user. We plan to reuse this internally and with other partners too to solve like different device performance issues too. Vinay is going to talk about the camera integration now.
Okay. So one key thing that was missing last year when we launched ST Schema was cameras. And with cameras really growing in the IoT market right now, it's one of those things that we've tried to solve. So right now, the SmartThings platform had the Arlo and Ring integration. So we've taken it from the old legacy Groovy integration and modernized it to use SmartThings Schema. But one key thing is we wanted to see if our platform's up and ready. So we actually worked with this that beautiful device called the Gate lock. It's a motion sensor lock, 2-way audio camera device with I'm pretty sure there are more features built into that tiny device that we worked with them about 3 weeks ago. And within the last 3 weeks, they were able to proved to us that the integration was straightforward, that they have a working integration as of today. So they are part of the SmartThings booth if you go to a tech hall and take a look at their device as well as the integration. The key thing there is they support RTSP for live streaming, so that's what our platform supports today. But if you are a WebRTC-based video streaming device, do let us know, because that's something that we are planning to start working in Q1 and have it ready. So from our point of view, if that's what you want, we'll work with you and make sure that you get launched pretty soon. One key thing to remember is you already have your native app for video streaming, but with the SmartThings integration, the key part that we have is the users can then use these camera integrations on the SmartThings phone, the SmartThings TV, the Samsung TV with the SmartThings app, and the Samsung fridge that has the SmartThings app. So the idea is you end up on more surfaces than just the native app that you have. So the next category that we have is ease of use, on how SmartThings Schema is making it easier for partners and developers in using SmartThings Schema and the integration. So Rohan's going to talk about this and have a live demo on stage.
Yes. So before we move on to the live demo, so just like Vinay said, so one of the key things of SmartThings Schema is that we want it to be truly self-service. So when you as a partner are working on developing the integration with us, we understand that there will be errors, and you debug those errors with us, right? So what we thought of is like we can have error logging, we can make it more proactive, we can make it more self-service. So like when you as a partner are developing the integration, we added this new interaction type, which is called interaction result. And say when you're responding back to a discovery request or a state refresh request, and if you got something wrong in the SmartThings Schema, you missed out on a required field, or something was not correct as per the capabilities documentation, we send you back an interaction type called interaction result, and that basically sums up all the errors that you might have in the SmartThings Schema response that you just sent back to us. So we're going to walk through some of those scenarios which we have listed over here. I'll just set it up.
It's your screen now.
Okay. So I'm just going to start off by adding the integration. This is the part where we do the OAuth 2 to the partner's cloud, and we just log in. So. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, like we have this glitch connector which we developed, which is like a 5-minute hello world. If you want to play around with SmartThings Schema, it's a great way to get your hands dirty with SmartThings Schema and understand the 3 interaction model which we have. So once the OAuth is complete, it should add, because we have errors, maybe.
So no devices came back because there's an error with the glitch connector. So hoping you guys can see it.
Yes. So there is an error with the glitch connector. I'm going to copy it over here because it's not really that easy to read. But this is the interaction type, which is the interaction result. And OK, so
Increase the font.
Increase the font.
Still.
Can you guys see it now? Yeah. So in this case, what happened is now we did not add the device successfully because when the partner, in this case, sent a discovery response, they missed out on sending us the manufacturer info, which is a required field as far as SmartThings Schema is concerned. So we send you this interaction result back saying that, hey, this is a bad request, and manufacturer info and model name, that information is missing, which is a required field, and that's why it's a bad request. So when you as a partner are developing this, you can right away see this interaction result, and you can just go ahead and quickly fix it instead of the traditional way of debugging, which we were doing till now. So this is one scenario, and let me go ahead and just fix this.
So that's the correct JSON that Rohan's going to substitute this with. So yeah, one key thing to remember is while you're debugging SmartThings Schema, you don't need to reinstall the app over and over again. So a quick trick is you can always go into connected services, and just by going into your app, that re-triggers discovery and state callback. So in this case, the device did come back.
Yes, so we fixed the discovery, so the device did come back. And if you see this, I already have
The new error?
Yes, so in the refresh response, on this line where I have switch level. So now as per the SmartThings capability documentation, we expect it to be in a particular format. So if you don't have it in the right format, or for the switch capability, instead of value on, I just have an integer, which is not a valid value, I can trigger the error again. So just go back, and as Vinay said, it's easy if you just click on the connected services. Yeah, and it triggers a discovery request. Okay, and I see an interaction result over here, so I'm just going to copy this. That's easier to. Okay, so over here it talks about all these errors, right? So what happens is, like, if you have more than one error, what it does is it accumulates all those errors together, and then it sends a response back to you so that you can see where all do you have a problem. So in this case, it says states of 0.value does not have a value in the enumeration of on or off, which is basically it's talking about the switch capability value. Because it's an integer, it does not accept that. It says, it even gives you more information, which is basically, it says the value has an integer, and it accepts a string over there. And similarly, it says switch level is not a valid value because our capability documentation expects it to be in a certain format. So we need to fix it, and then it should just go away. So we can do one test where we just have everything is fine.
So one key thing to remember is we are making sure that this is only during the debugging phase where you're creating the app and you're trying things out. Once your app is certified, we don't want you to have millions of errors coming in this way.
Right.
So we're actually working with partners to figure out if that they do want to turn on debugging, they could do it at a per user level in the future. But this would be so that this is just happening during your debugging phase, making it easier for you to debug.
Yes. As soon as you're certified, you will not see those errors. So yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. That's it for the error logging that we have right now.
Switch back. Over CLI.
Yeah. One more feature that we implemented after the error logging is the CLI, which is more or less like just CRUD operations for like creating the partner app and going through the install flow. One advantage is that you don't have to go through the other tools. So it makes people who prefer CLI just go through the CLI. They can install the partner app, and they can go through the install, and they can create an install app just using the CLI, just test it out. And then once they are confident, they can go through the actual process that we have. We have a small demo for that too.
CLI?
Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing to keep in mind is one additional feature that the CLI offers is you can use your personal access tokens for this. So from the SmartThings API documentation, you can generate personal access tokens, but they need to have the right scopes to perform like read or write operations on like creating a partner app or creating a new installed app. So I already have one generated token which we are going to use for this test. I'm just going to. So this is like a post request which we'll just make to the CLI. And it's just basically going to create a new partner app. So when you're a partner and when you want to start working on your integration, you can just use this, and you can create a new partner app, and you can get started on the integration, right? So it created the app for us. It generates the Viper app, and it also has the client ID and the secret, which is what you use if you're going to be a WWST partner and if you want to let us know about callbacks. So I'm just going to go through the install flow for this, and
yeah, while Rohan was talking, he kept using the word Viper app. So SmartThings Schema is our schema, the JSON definitions of what we accept on the platform to install your devices and everything. Viper is the code name of a microservice, the service that actually hosts this. So internally, that's what we call it. So we tend to use it interchangeably.
OK, and this is the get call that we use to go through the install flow. So this basically gives you the OAuth link, which is you just copy the link and you take it to the, try it on the new browser tab. Just get rid of this. Okay, and so after you click authorize, it should basically just do the OAuth process, like complete the OAuth ceremony, and this is when the connection is successful, so it should add the device onto the app. So now if
One key thing is, yeah, if you paste the link back,
paste the link back.
yeah, into the browser, that because the OAuth is done at this point, instead of returning the OAuth page, what it should instead do is
No, it's through the CLI. So
CLI, okay.
yeah. So now if I make the install flow, if I make the same call again, it should return the devices back to me.
Yeah.
So yep. So it says that I create an install smart app ID, and this is the device ID that I added. The name is virtual switch. And it says that the page type is logged in because we completed the OAuth process and you got the token successfully.
Cool. Let's go back. The next big feature that we've been working on and should be out soon in our developer workspace is the beta program. One key request from our partners was making it easier for them to add beta testers just so that they could test it before things go out. So our developer workspace team has been working hard and trying to make sure that it's not just seamless, but you have more control over how many participants have signed up and what they're doing. So this should come out soon for you to test with your beta partners. The next category that we have for you is future features. It's things that are almost ready. It's in the pipeline, but we want to tease them to you here today. These would be available sometime. We'll have timelines for each one of them, but the key reason we are sharing this is it kind of is why IoT is so amazing that things change so quickly. So we wanted to talk about some of these features. Like the first one we have is C2C plus local. We expect this to be ready by sometime in Q1 2020. One key reason why we started SmartThings Schema is to make it super easy for partners to add their devices to SmartThings. It means that users who've got Samsung devices and don't have a SmartThings hub could easily onboard a to-your device or a TP-Link or a LifeX device without needing a hub and just get started. But as a user gets more advanced in their IoT journey, they tend to buy a SmartThings hub to make it more faster, to make it more reliable without an internet. And the key thing that we are working is basically reusing that connection that exists as a C2C connection and make it work through the hub. It's cheaper for the partner. There's no more cloud cost in terms of the cloud, the commands going over the cloud. But one key thing that the user gets is local integration. That's the rules API that was announced today. Those would move automatically from running on the cloud to running locally because the device would change to running locally. So we'll have more announcement about this in early Q1. But this is something that, yeah, we wanted to announce with a few partners. So we are already testing this with Hue, TP-Link, and LifeX. We've been working very closely with these partners, so we'll get started with them, and hopefully once we have that all figured out in Q1, we'll have more documentation for you. The next is provider timestamp. This is critical because of the way how CST devices, the compatible with SmartThings devices work. Because there's no callbacks, we make a call to the partner every 6 hours. So it ends up looking like the events were created at that time. So if suppose the poll goes out at 2 p.m., 8 p.m., 2 a.m., 8 a.m., so it will keep going every 6 hours. And if we keep getting those events that the switch got turned on, it looks as if the user was turning it on at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. What we've tried to do with provider timestamp is that the partner can tell us when the event was actually created, that the user actually turned it on at noon or at 6 p.m. rather than at the time we are polling them. This would make sure that the event history, as the user looks at the device in the SmartThings app, would be more accurate. Device grouping. It's one of those questions that was also asked in the previous session if you were here on popcorning. One key thing, if you've got a lot of lights in your house, is if you try to turn them all on together, you see them popcorn go one by one. One way that we've tried to solve them is enable grouping at the Zigbee level for the hub. But for C2C, it becomes important too because a partner may support grouping on their side. So Philips Hue and LifeX do support grouping on their end so that there's no popcorning effect. So what we are trying to do here is enable two-way grouping, where if the group was created on the SmartThings side or on the partner side, it would always show up as a group so that you can control them using automations in the SmartThings app. And the last feature that we want to tease, this is Q2 of 2020. It's something that we really want to enable. We've got scenes already in the SmartThings app where you can have a kitchen scene and a good night scene. But one key thing that has happened in the lighting space in the last year or so is more and more partners coming out with what we call dynamic scenes. It's the fire mode, or it's a place where there's a disco mode so that the lights are doing just more than going to one color, which means that these scenes can only be run from the partner end. So what we want to do is not just bring in the partner devices as part of the SmartThings schema, but also bring in their scenes so that we can do dynamic scene control using the SmartThings Rules API. Yeah, with that, we've got a few more minutes for questions, so I'll open it up for any questions.
Hey, I have a question. I have actually a couple, but I'll start with one.
Okay.
I've been implementing SmartThings Schema for my app and reading a bit about Lambda, and one thing that I found was a little concerning was that Amazon guarantees that a Lambda function will be executed at least once.
Yeah.
In practice, do you have any experiences or troubles with Lambda functions being called more than once, and item potency being something that you need to?
So are you talking in terms of concurrency or like?
No, I'm talking in terms of like, I don't know. I don't have any personal experience with it, but I've heard that in some edge cases, a Lambda function could be called multiple times, the same function with the same event.
Okay.
Does that actually happen in practice, and has it been a problem?
So just for context, so we allow our partners to have both Lambda as well as webhook, just so that they've got more independence in terms of what platform they choose. As far as the Viper platform that we were talking about, that's actually completely Lambda-based. So that kind of is where we've got experience using Lambda itself, and we are at this point where we are running thousands of commands per second at this point, and we've not seen that kind of issue.
Okay.
But one key thing to remember is as long as your device doesn't have a toggle, this is not an issue that most of our partners have seen, because it's either switch on or switch off. So in the worst possible case, you get two switch ons. It's still the same state that the device eventually ends up with.
Sure. Well, since there's no one behind me, I'll ask my second question, which was about the errors, the interaction result. You mentioned, which was a little surprising to me, that those will disappear once the integration becomes live.
Yeah.
Once you're certified, right? So yeah.
Okay, so there are no errors at all. So is there any?
One
or what? Yeah, like, can you clarify that? Like.
Yeah, one key reason for that is we've got partners like at TP-Link and 2-year scale, where they're going to have hundreds of thousands and millions of devices. So if there's a small bug, that could result in millions of logs going back to them, essentially DDoSing their service for this small error. Instead of what we are working on, that we kind of didn't bring it up here, is we're also trying to make it easier to let the partners know about elevated errors in the platform. So once you're certified, we'll have a different delivery mechanism for your errors. So if there's any elevated errors, we'll reach out to you in a separate manner, probably through email or some other form, rather than through interaction result. Because interaction result is great. Like you saw Rohan send out the discovery request, and you immediately saw the interaction result. But in practice, we've got the platform running right now, and in Lambda or any service that you have, there's just so many logs streaming by that we didn't think that most partners would want to do that. But one key thing that we have is, even once you're in production, if you do have one user where it's just failing for that one user, or you just want to turn it on for that one user, we'll support it so that in a discovery callback, you can send a special debug header, and that would turn it on for that user so that you can just monitor that one user. But for certified partners, we'll make sure that there's a separate delivery mechanism of those errors.
In most scenarios, it will be like, if you have a problem in that connector, it might affect multiple users. But in that one case where you think like there is this one problematic user, you can use that flag and you can let us know, right? So you can specifically look at the logs for that user. So.
Thanks.
Cool. OK. Thank you. And please rate the session. So thank you.